What's up guys, DMJR here, and in today's video, we've got some exciting news. As you see behind me, this is the brand new Sun Home Saunas Cold Plunge Pro. They made a lot of upgrades, and in this video, we're gonna go over all the upgrades, do a full review of this product, so you can decide if this is a product and a cold plunge you should consider for yourself or not. We've got a lot to talk about, so let's jump right into it. And hey, after today's video, if you need more resources, if you need more details, I'm gonna have the link to Sun Home Saunas down in the description below. It'll take you right to their website, show you all of the products, including the new Apex, the new Luminar 5, and all of their other products. So you may wanna consider, you may wanna look at those as well. So that link will be down in the description below. And there's a discount code if you do wanna buy. Use the discount code, it saves you some money, supports the channel, all that fun stuff. But let's get into it. I actually have the version 1 or 2. I've reviewed 3 of these. Like I've had 3 of these to review, and that's the older version. There are some key differences that I've already noticed. I will point them out throughout this video. But one of the things I noticed, like from the beginning, from the very first one, the entire thing was a beast. I don't know if you saw this on Instagram, if you followed me for a little while, but last year when I first reviewed the original Cold Plunge Pro, I had one of these massive 40-foot palm trees during a storm. An old rotten one just snapped and fell directly across the top here. I actually still have that one. I can show it to you. So this is the side that got slammed by a tree. You can see it kind of like got dented in, but the thing still worked, which is crazy. And I was so impressed. I was actually devastated when it happened because I was like, dude, I didn't even get a chance to like film this thing, but the thing still worked. Like I sawed the actual tree off of it and the thing was still running. Like it never actually damaged the cold plunge. Obviously aesthetically, there was a big dent on it, but it still ran. That's not normal. That wouldn't happen to 99% of the other cold plunges that I have or have used. Super solid, and the entire outside is sprayed with a protective coating similar to what you would find in a premium truck bed. So the entire thing looks good. It is built like a tank. I consider this thing the Ferrari of cold plunges. It is an absolute machine. And there's some key differences that I noticed. Once again, I'll walk around and show you everything. But the backside here has a bigger door and the ventilation is different. A couple things you're gonna wanna note: you will need 12 amps. It is a 1 horsepower chilling component, made in Germany, not made in China. Pretty impressive. I'm really impressed with this thing. Anyway, you have an 8-foot cord, so you're gonna need a 12 amp outlet. Most household outlets are 15 amp, so just make sure it's dedicated, because once this thing's fired up, you are gonna wanna make sure that the power works really, really well. And this thing can generate ice. It's kind of why you would get this one. It generates really good looking ice. Actually, this is kind of a sneak peek of what you're gonna expect. This is the Apex. I've had this thing, I've reviewed it for about a month now, and honestly, it's super impressive. I have a full review on this product as well. But it makes floating ice. You don't have to have floating ice. You can set the temperature up to ambient, whatever the ambient outside temperature is, down to negative 28 degrees. If you want large chunks of floating ice, you can do that. A large tub holds 150 gallons of water, which is a lot. Most cold plunges are around 90 to 100, so 150 gallons of water. It is a large tub. We're gonna see everything this cold plunge comes with. It looks like there's some changes, some new things, so I'm excited about that. And we're gonna play around with it. All right, let's go ahead and jump right into the specs. Specs, things you're gonna wanna know. Obviously the price. This thing at time of recording this video is listed at $14,499. It is a premium cold plunge, all right? This is a premium cold plunge, and we're gonna go over all the features and you'll have to justify if that price is worth it to you or not. But we're gonna go over all the information and let you make the best decision for yourself. So it's $14,499. You can use my discount code. It saves you a pretty good amount of money. You can play around with that. Obviously it changes depending on what product it is that you're looking at. But the discount code is MAUS, M-A-U-S. Links down in the description below if you want to tinker around with pricing, warranties, and all that stuff, all right? It comes pretty much fully loaded. The only options are gonna be if you want to extend the warranty to 3, 5, or 7 years. Because this is a premium cold plunge, you can't expect for it to work, last, and be used for years to come. And if you wanna protect it, there's a 3, a 5, and a 7-year warranty option that you can choose if it's something you decide you wanna do. We talked a little bit about the build earlier, but there is one really cool thing that you're probably gonna wanna know, and that is the weight. This thing is one solid machine, and it's all built right here. There's no additional chillers or anything else that you're gonna have to worry about. Because of that, it weighs about 345 pounds dry before you put water into it. And you can't make it any smaller. So I'm gonna go over the actual dimensions here in a second, and you can't make it any smaller. So make sure that wherever you're planning on putting this, there's a way to get it there, all right? However, if you look down here at the bottom, there's 6 industrial size foot casters that you can easily roll. I rolled it back here by myself, which isn't very hard. So you can easily roll these. And then once you have it where you want it, you actually just use this little red thing here and you spin it, and a little piece of rubber, actually it's a pretty large piece of rubber, is gonna fall down to the ground and hold it in place. So once you have it where you want it, roll at least 3 of these down. There's 6 of them total, and that will lock your cold plunge in place. Go ahead and take everything out. This is new. Let's see what this is here in a second. And then we've got a duffel bag. So now we're gonna go ahead and measure the entire thing. We'll start with the length, 79 inches long. So 6 feet, 7 inches long, 6'7", 33.5 inches wide. And from the ground to the top, 34 inches from the ground to the top, just under 3 feet. Now let's talk about the interior dimension. Length is 47 inches, width is just under 29 inches, and depth is 27.5 inches. A lot of changes inside the tub itself. I have not actually turned it on and filled it up, but I do hear you have control of the lights this time. On the original, the lights kind of went through its own little scheme of lights, which was nice, but also like it's nice to be able to control your color. On the Apex, I have it all turned red because I typically cold plunge at night or early in the morning, and I like that red light ambiance. So every light is red. The light out here where it says Sun Home Saunas is red. The light underneath the stairs and inside is red. You can control it, chromotherapy style lighting, where you can change it to any light that you want. You can also just make it white if that's what you want. So here we can do the exact same thing on the new Pro, which is great. So there's an updated light. There's a few other updates too. There's a drain hole down here at the very bottom, and that's what that is. That's a drain hole. And when you do need to drain this thing, on that same side, underneath here, on the back side here, is an actual spigot where you will release the water and all the water will drain out of that hole. You can also attach a hose to that. So if you are diverting the water somewhere, that's where you're gonna do that. But there's 3 holes in here now. I'm not exactly sure which hole's gonna do what. I would assume the 2 holes at the bottom are gonna suck in the water. 2 holes to suck in the water seems cool. And then 1 giant hole here at the top that's gonna force water at you, creating what's considered to be like a polar jet, forcing cold water right at your chest when you're sitting down in here, which is nice. And if you can't tell, the entire inside is stainless steel, which makes sense when you do have it set to create ice. All the stainless steel will fill up with ice in a certain pattern, is what I've noticed on the Apex. And then it almost defrosts that ice, so the ice comes off and floats in that pattern and then breaks up into great chunks, which makes it nice. You're not having to like pound through the ice to get in it if you do have it set that cold, and it looks really cool too. Once again, I'll give you a little reference and show you, this is kind of what it will look like automatically. Chunks of floating ice. It's freaking cool. And then because you can have this inside, this is a little drip line where you could put like a pan, a bowl, something like that. And if there's any condensation, there's a pan inside that catches it all, and it'll drip right out of here. So you can put like a little bowl underneath to catch condensation if you have this inside your house or inside a gym. And if you see this boil on my hand, I got popped last night with very, very hot beef tallow cooking, so don't make fun of me. I'm not one of those guys who pops them, so sorry about that. Try to hide it. When I'm doing a review of a product, I think it's really important to also set it up. So I'm gonna go ahead and set this where I want it. I'm gonna have it right here in front of the Luminar 5. It's a really cool look because lengthwise, it almost fits perfectly against the Luminar 5. So I'm gonna have it right there against this tinted black glass of the Luminar 5. Makes for a really good combination. So if you have a cool space and you like this black on black look, a lot of people are doing this same setup after seeing mine. So this is the black Luminar 5. Obviously it only comes in 1 color. Outdoor Luminar 5, the top is stainless steel, so it protects all the components, and it is a full spectrum infrared. I have a full review on the original, and this is the updated one, so I have a new review coming very soon. But I'm gonna have this here. I'm gonna have the Cold Plunge Pro pressed up against the glass right there. Looks really cool, very similar in size, and just creates a really sick look for my outdoor gym here in Florida. Now, let's take a look inside this big duffel bag of goodies and see what we got. All right, so this is cool. I always love when you get extra filters. So we've got additional filters. These look like 10-inch by 2.5-inch filters. So we've got 3 of those. Little headrest here that can suction right up into there. That's awesome. a big, like heavy duty skimmer for cleaning the debris out of the top if stuff gets in there and it's floating around. Looks like this is a cover maybe. Sunhome does like some premium touches that I think honestly everyone should like take note of. A robe. And this is gonna be crazy, but like obviously I've reviewed a lot of Sunhome products, so I've got a few of these robes and I'm a family of 6. So it's funny to see my kids like walking around in their Sunhome robes. But a nice Sunhome robe. We've got a nice Sunhome towel. Once again, I've got a few of these. These are premium. Love that touch. We've got a little scrubby brush, which is cool for cleaning the stainless steel tub every once in a while. If you keep the water in there for a while, and I do. That one I just moved has been the same water for, I wanna say, about 6 months. The filtration in this is really, really good. But sometimes grime and lines, like I guess they're called scum lines, can build up. Use this little guy, scrubs it right off. Our remote to change our light colors, your wrenches to open up your filter housings if they get a little tight, the instructions, and a nice duffel bag. So that's what you get there. That is a nice touch. So this is the new step. That is a great upgrade compared to the old one. Let me show you what the old one looks like. So this is the old one, and as you can tell, like I don't even use it, but that's the old one, which was fine, but honestly, like there's a couple times that the kids will like stand on one side and gets a little wiggly. This is like a straight up staircase. Like the only touch, like Sunhome, the only negative thing I would say is I live in Florida. This thing's gonna be outside baking in the sun and the top gets really, really hot. I love that you put the foam on top of the Apex. Maybe a slight upgrade, future rendition. Throw some of that foam on the top there so it doesn't get hot. Either way, it's a great upgrade from the previous one that I didn't use. And if you're someone who needs this step, this is great. And a nice little touch, if you do have it outside and it is hot, just splash some water onto it and it immediately cools down. I realize that on the top, because the top can get hot too. When I put some water on it, it literally like immediately cools down. So I would do the same thing with this, but a little bit of that foam on top, that'd be a nice little touch. And while we're under here, I might as well open up the new lid, see if they made any changes, which they did. I kind of expected this change. After I reviewed the Apex, the lid has a little bit of a different material. It's like a fabric material versus this leather. This is the old lid. Man, they keep making improvements that are just really, really nice, and it fits their premium lineup really well. The new lid has a new premium fabric material, which should do a really good job at like mitigating. You could probably not see it, but you know, I have a lot of fallout from trees that sticks to this. And I've noticed on the Apex, it still looks brand new and it's been out there for about a month. Another nice touch is that usually these straps, you have to like install the buckle itself into the cold plunge, which is not very practical for most people. Most people are afraid to drill into a cold plunge, but on the new one, the buckles are already installed. So that'll make the straps actually usable for me, because I actually never used them on the old ones. So the lid looks great. Great update. I'm gonna go ahead and fill it up because that's the next step. So I always recommend getting a hose filter. It's just a really easy way to allow your filters to last longer. But watch this, it's a brand new hose filter. When you let it go, I'm gonna go out here in the dirt actually. When you turn it on for the first time, never put it in the tub when you turn it on, because watch. The first water to come out, you saw that? It was black carbon. So let these run for about a solid, I'd say 10 seconds until the water's crystal clear. Let it flow out, water your plants with it, whatever. And then now it looks pretty good. So I'm gonna go ahead and drop this in now. Let this thing fill up so we can actually turn it on, test it out, and do the actual review. Righty then. So we're about halfway full. I always try to wait till the water is like above this main top jet, but I think these bottom two ports are actually where the water goes in. With that being said, I think this is probably a good time to go ahead and dive under the hood and take a look inside back here. Let's check it out. So I'm just gonna take this entire lid off and set it off to the side. It's a little bigger than the original one. All right, so now let's jump in here. So I don't have it plugged in right now, but a couple things to note inside here. This is actually gonna be your emergency shutoff switch. So AKA it's going to trip if something bad is happening. So you're gonna wanna make sure that this is turned on, obviously. But what we're gonna do here is there's actually 4 of these little nuts that we're gonna take all the way out. And then this actually swivels out. Now we have full access inside here to see everything. And I was right. So a couple things to note, hopefully you can hear me well. There's actually 2 pumps and 2 sediment filters. So this is a line all on its own. with its own sediment filter and its own pump. Then over here, that other hole has its own line, sediment filter, and pump. The water comes through here, half of it goes through this, which is a UV light, which is really good for sanitization. Then the other half goes through the main filter. This is the filter that's gonna get all the other debris out. And then at the very end, there's an ozone generator that's pumped in at the very end of the line going back into this plunge. This is why this cold plunge is one of the best as far as keeping your water clean. It really is. I hate to say that because I review a lot of products, but it is. I mean, it really is. Like, look at this. It's like 1, 2, 3 filters, a UV light, and ozone. That's freaking awesome. Like, that is so awesome. So you wanna make sure that these lines are open before you turn it on. So where this red is right here, if it's straight with the actual pipe itself, that means it's open. So everything looks good back here. I think it's a perfect time to now plug it in. So what I wanna do real quick, I'm just gonna leave it open like this, and I'm gonna take the plug, standard household plug right here, and I'm gonna just plug it in to my little outlet that I have set up over here and see what happens. All right, hopefully I don't get shocked. Let's open this up real quick. Now we should be cooking with gas. There we go. We are on. The light's already on, doing its little cycle of crazy light. You can see there is a light behind this now, which is cool. The light inside, and then you can't see it right now, but there is a light underneath the entire plunge. All right, so if the setting is at 32 degrees, which means ice generation, the polar jet won't turn on while it's generating ice. So you have to turn it up. So I just turned it up to 51, pressed polar jet, and everything is running perfectly. So that is the polar jet. You can see that water is going to force out right at your chest where you're gonna be sitting in there. And once you have the water above that line, it's gonna create a current, which will break up that thermal layer while you're in there, making the cold plunge even more effective. Now let's take a look back over here one more time. Just peek in here before we shut everything. Water's flowing in both filters. Yep, everything's looking good. You can actually see the UV light on in there. Perfect. So now we don't have any leaks. Everything looks good. We'll close it, tighten it up. So just to take a trip down memory lane, this is the original Plunge Pro. This is the back, how you would open it. And just to take a quick peek in here, it's very different. It is a major upgrade. So there was ozone in this as well. I want to say there was a smaller UV light, but there was only one pump, one sediment filter, and one smaller filter. So, man, looking at this, I should have probably changed the filter recently, but it was still running and the water was still pretty clear. But you can see in there the difference, how there's only one filter. You see how brown that is? That's good. That means it was doing its job. And that means that it's a pretty effective system because the water was still clear. The ozone was still doing its job. The filter had done its job, but the ozone was doing a much better job in there. So that's an upgrade. They added an extra pump, an extra line, an extra filter, a bigger UV, a different ozone generator, and the placement of everything is pretty cool too. So definitely if you have the original and you're looking to upgrade, I mean, obviously there's always a market. There's always an open market where people are looking to get cold plunges, premium cold plunges. So there's some upgrades. I mean, it's up to you, obviously, if that's something you want to do, but I could tell you, I'm really impressed with the Apex, and the components are the same on the new Pro. This is gonna be a game changer in the cold plunge space, for sure. So the water line is almost where we want it. And the cool thing too is there's no chiller in this, like a traditional cold plunge chiller where the water's passing through cooled lines. This actually cools the water by cooling the sides down, and you can actually see, and you can actually feel it. You could see the actual lines going through, and you kind of see where the water line needs to be for it to cool the water down. And that's really cool. So basically it reads the temperature of the water and will cool it down to the set temp. Like right now I have it set to 51. The hose water coming out is around 79. So it's set to 51. It's gonna cool the water down to 51, so it won't create ice, but it's going to do that same thing. So like literally right now, it is on, it is operating, but there is no water flowing through any of the pipes. It's kind of a unique system. And I realized that with the Apex since I've been using it, like it is such an effective filtration system and sanitization system that it doesn't have to stay on 24/7. So the cooling mechanism will auto cycle through as it needs to keep your water at the temperature that you have it set at. But the actual pumps, the actual filters, UV, and the ozone, those won't turn on until you actually turn them on by pressing Polar Jet. So when you press that Polar Jet feature, it kicks on both pumps. The water runs through, ozone gets pushed in there, UV light, filtration, and it clears your water out really quickly. But also, that's cool because you can cold plunge in stagnant water, like still water, or you can turn the Polar Jet on and have water bursting you in the chest. It's up to you, and that doesn't matter what temperature you have the water set at. What's also cool is like at night, when if I want to, I can come over here and hit Polar Jet and run that jet throughout the entire night and completely sanitize every drop of water in here. So you're not wasting a ton of energy throughout the day, which is nice. I have noticed, like I have both of these, probably shouldn't say it, but I have both of these plugged in on the same outlet. It's a 20 amp outlet, and they're both currently on, and they're both currently operating. So it doesn't pull as much power as maybe it's rated for, or yeah, I don't know. It's an efficient and it's a pretty quiet cold plunge, which is awesome. If you're hearing some noise, it's because I have a shotgun mic up here. I'm not using my mic right now. And unfortunately, this is also where my air conditioning units are. I live in Florida. Air conditioning units are on almost all the time. So we've got this thing on. The water is pretty much where I want it. I'm gonna do my first test of actually getting inside it. And then we're gonna talk about all the differences, do a recap, a review, final recap of this thing so that you can decide if it's something that you want for yourself or not. Let's do a quick rundown of the actual touchscreen. So you can connect this to the Sunhome app as well and have access to making some changes to your cold plunge through the app, which is nice. They're making updates constantly to the app too. So even if you don't have a Sunhome product, maybe check out the app, get in there. And if you do have a Sunhome product, make sure you're getting that app for sure. So on the touchscreen itself, it's really, really easy to use. It's obviously just touchscreen. You have the light feature. So I'll turn that off. That turns the lights on and off. The lights are inside, on the outside sign, and underneath. You have the defrost feature, so it will automatically cycle through. Like right now, it's cooling my water down. Then once it's reached the set temp, especially if you have ice generation, depending on the temperature, it will defrost the ice so the ice can float. This button over here is the Polar Jet. That's what turns the actual jet on. And once it's doing that, you'll see the water flowing through. It'll create a nice little cycle of water, and it'll kick on the actual pumps running the water through the filters, the ozone, and stuff like that. Detailed settings you don't need to go into unless you're pairing, and this is where you hit match network, and that will pair to the actual app itself. Hit confirm. Power is obviously, you can turn the power on and off, and then the plus and minus right here is where you're gonna set the temperature. So right now I have it set to 51. It's currently 79 degrees, and that's why this button is solid, because it is cooling down, and you can actually hear it, and I can feel this is where the air gets pushed out through the fan to cool everything down inside. So right now, everything is on. You've got this beautiful Sunhome insignia here, which is also another vent, allowing tons of airflow into the cold plunge itself. And it's on, and you can see the bubbles on the side there. That is actually where ice would form, and that's how it's cooling down the water. So the water feels obviously nice. It's 79 degrees. It's kind of like a hot tub right now, but I want to do the full body test. So we're going to just get in it, even though it's not completely cold yet. I'm going to go ahead and get in it just so I can show you what a 6'1", 210 pound guy would look like inside here. I can tell you it's 150 gallons of water. It has a lot of room. All right, test out these stairs. Oh yeah. Make sure the water's not gonna hit my camera, which it's going to, because I filled it up too much. But it's such a big body of water. Like, I don't think people realize how big this is. Like, I'm not scrunched up in here. I have a place I can plant my feet against the walls. My back, I mean, the walls are pretty much vertical. On the back and on the feet, it's got a little bit of a slant to it as well. But my butt's not on the ground. Like, my butt is floating. I have to float. And the cool thing too is, like, no matter how big you are, like if you're 6'1" or taller, your butt could be planted on the ground in here, and you could have the water, as you could see, above my collarbone. That's really the important spot when you're cold plunging. You want to have that water above your collarbone, really trying to touch as much skin as possible. Can you get fully underwater in this thing? Absolutely. With ease. It's one of the easiest cold plunges to do a full dunk on. And what's cool is like a lot of the cold plunges that you can dunk in easily, they're larger tubs, so they're more expensive and they don't necessarily create ice like this one does. So when you do have the ice created here and you're wanting to get fully underwater and submerge in that ice, you have all of the options with this. You can set the temperature to whatever you want that temperature to be set. You can have ice, you can have 55, 60 degree water. You can have still water, or you can have a polar jet pushing water at your chest, breaking up that thermal layer, making it a little bit more uncomfortable and cooling your skin down a little bit more. You can have the ability to have your arms out here on the side. You can hold yourself up, you can raise yourself, you can sit all the way down and have every part of your body underwater, and you can even dunk. It's got enough room in here where you can even snorkel. Some people are next level, varsity level, and they're snorkeling, meaning they have a straw or a snorkel out of the water and they're underwater the entire time they're cold plunging. That is like next level stuff. Don't feel like you have to do that at all. But I would tell you, if you're somebody looking for like, you're like, dude, David, I just want the cream of the crop. I want the best cold plunge out there. It's hard for me to say what the best is, and I know this is like premium, tippy top, very expensive cold plunge, but like I haven't had anybody buy this cold plunge and regret it. So I would say that this is one of the best cold plunges out there as far as premium goes. And I've been in a lot of them. I've been in, I don't want to say the names, but top 3 most expensive cold plunges. I've been in them. I haven't reviewed them. I haven't been crazy impressed with them. I continue to be impressed with Sunhome. They keep innovating, they keep bringing out new products that have the right, they check the right boxes, and this is another one of them. So Sunhome, great job. I'm impressed. I'm glad to be able to review this. If you're considering a Sunhome product, if you're considering getting the Sunhome Pro, this is it. It's impressive. It's really impressive. I'm gonna let it do its thing overnight, and tomorrow morning cold plunge in here with ice. So that'll be pretty cool. We'll have 2 over here set up that'll have ice floating. So that's how the pattern of the ice actually makes. You see how there's bubbles inside, then it's solid. So that way you can literally break the ice in pieces. But it doesn't matter if I'm impressed. Are you impressed? Like, is this a cold plunge that you would consider? Do you like the features? Is this what you're looking for? Do you have any questions I didn't go over in detail? Pop them down in the comments below. Reach out to me on Instagram. I love helping people make decisions. And at the end of the day, you know, like, this may not be the perfect cold plunge for everybody. That's why I review all different products and all different price ranges. So make sure you're subscribed to the channel. I am posting new content daily. Try to post 3 to 5 videos a week on YouTube. It's a lot. I've actually posted more videos on my YouTube channel than Mr. Beast has posted. Not as famous as Mr. Beast, and I don't plan on ever being as famous as Mr. Beast. He's next level, which like, he's actually the level, not next level. He's like at the top of the level. But needless to say, I want to put the resources out there so when people are looking to make good decisions in their health and wellness, I've reviewed all the products out there that are worth considering and give you the information you need to make the best decision for yourself. So if you want to check out other videos, make sure you check out the channel, go through all the different review playlists, and there's different brand playlists. There's a lot of different content on how to clean these products, upkeep, different modalities, ways of optimizing the use of them. And man, God is good. So I appreciate you guys for watching. I'll see you guys in the next video. Have a great day, my friends, and God bless.